Powered by Riverside FM.
There are reports out there about something that could just be a catastrophe for the Minnesota Vikings. It could be a catastrophe. Diana Rossini and The Athletic are reporting that the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm not mincing words, but they said the Minnesota Vikings are not interested in Aaron Rodgers at this time. They are moving forward with JJ McCarthy. The key word is at this time. And Diana Rossini predicted on the Dan Patrick Show that Aaron Rodgers will still end up in Minnesota. If this happens, if the Vikings revisit this down the line, it's going to be the biggest catastrophe that you've ever seen from the Minnesota Vikings. It will be a catastrophe. Let me walk you through this, UP Nation. Let me walk you through this. Aaron Rodgers, the whole conversation has ended. All the speculation last week, all of the misreporting last week, all of the freaking rumors from last week, they're rolling with JJ. That's their stance. And I happen to agree with that stance. I happen to agree with it. But that's what they're rolling with. In the spring, in OTAs, if JJ McCarthy needs to be replaced, let's say, hypothetically, they brought in Aaron Rodgers after OTAs because JJ McCarthy is not looking very good. And I'm just using hypotheticals here. Let's say that happened, UP Nation. And you supplant JJ McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers. JJ McCarthy will never come back from that. You have to know that. You have to know that. If that's the amount of leash that the Minnesota Vikings are going to give him, which I don't think is going to happen. Again, I'm talking about hypotheticals here because you got The Athletic saying that this is not put to bed. So let's say they supplant him and put in Aaron Rodgers. Is J.J. McCarthy going to come back from that? See, the time to have possibly signed Aaron Rodgers has passed. You bring him in without any OTAs from J.J. McCarthy. Let's just push it forward. Let's just kick the can down the road. Let's say J.J. McCarthy makes it to training camp and reports start coming out at training camp that he's missing throws. You know how these reports come out. That he's throwing a couple of worm burner balls, throwing balls over wide receivers' heads, not accurate. What are you going to do? Make a phone call to Aaron Rodgers to possibly come in, the rumors start again? What do you think that's going to do for J.J. McCarthy's confidence if that happens? He will never be able to come back from that. Not with the Minnesota Vikings organization. Let's push it forward to some preseason games. We're not seeing what we thought we would see during the preseason game where J.J. McCarthy struggles. These are all possibilities, UP Nation. This is all possibilities. What are you going to do? Make a phone call to Aaron Rodgers? Not only is Aaron Rodgers coming in to replace a struggling J.J. McCarthy, but he's also replacing the veteran backup quarterback that you say you're going to sign right now. That could be Joe Flacco. That could be anybody. What are you going to do? J.J. McCarthy will not be able to come back from that. And I think it creates a lot of excitement, but it really taints the fan base. So in terms of revisiting the Aaron Rodgers thing, man, I just think the Minnesota Vikings, they have to put this to bed. I mean, doing that at a later date, there's no upside to it. There's no upside to it. The right time to have done it, if you were seriously considering that, was this past week. JJ McCarthy has no stock other than potential. He hasn't really played on the field with the exception of that one exhibition game against the Raiders. So it's not like he's been put out there, given a chance, and then in a short amount of time failed. Because now the narratives will start that he's not as good as everybody thinks he is. The narratives will start that he could possibly be a bust. I mean, look at Dallas Turner last year. Dallas Turner, I think, is going to be a box office defensive end. He is going to be lights out. He's going to end up being, in my opinion, one of the best defensive players in the league at some point. But when he wasn't on the field for reps, or he didn't get as much playing time, because we had Van Ginkel and Grenard, you heard the rumblings. Is Dallas Turner as good as everybody makes him out to be? Is he a bust? So you have to understand there's also the narrative out there that Kwesi is not very good in the draft. So it's more than likely he chose JJ McCarthy, he and KOC. So there's this fear in the back of some people's minds that if JJ doesn't play well, what do you think the narrative is going to be? What do you think the conversation is going to be like about JJ McCarthy? You're going to hear the words not as good and bust. So I think it's very important, UP Nation, and I'm happy about this, that we didn't sign Aaron Rodgers. But I'm trying to educate people. Just because I supported KOC and the fellas and defended them in terms of the hesitation and doing their due diligence, inquiring about what it would look like if Aaron Rodgers is on this team. See, there's a lot of people that will just shut it down. I mean, I've heard a lot of people just shut it down. And I think it's the most irresponsible thing you could ever do, is to just not consider it or just shut it down. You're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback with some baggage, with some locker room issues, but yet and still Hall of Fame. So the shut it down side of it is ridiculous. It's stupid. It's irresponsible. Let these guys do their jobs. But now, since they've done their due diligence and done their jobs, there's no way down the road you revisit the whole Aaron Rodgers thing and take JJ out of the lineup and replace him with Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is going to sit out there and wait because that's his prerogative. He's going to see what JJ McCarthy does because he wants to be here. I don't think he's going to sign with Pittsburgh. I could be wrong. I don't think he's going to sign with the Giants. I could be wrong. I just don't think he wants to go to a mediocre team and end his career that way. And he definitely doesn't want to end his career like it ended with the Jets. The Minnesota Vikings cannot. I don't care how JJ plays. See, this is what I'm talking about being all in. You got to be all in with JJ. If he struggles, I will support him. I am going to give JJ McCarthy time to develop into a good NFL quarterback. I'm not going to put the pressure on him on 2025 like some people will. And then when he has a couple of bad games or throws a couple of bad picks, you're not going to hear from me that he's a bust. I'm going to let this thing play out because I'm all in with JJ McCarthy. If you're going to be all in, then be all in. The Minnesota Vikings, man, down the road can't revisit this. They just can't. They just can't. It would just, if you were going to sign Rodgers, you should have signed him last week. You can't. I don't care how. JJ is the franchise quarterback now. He is QB1 for the duration. You attached your wagon to him. And I fully support that. This has been Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. For those of you that become members, you will be entered into a drawing to win a Minnesota Vikings Winter Warrior jersey. So please consider becoming a member. UP Nation, We will see you when we see you.